Hey, everybody. This is your friendly neighborhood doc welcoming you to the 52nd episode of Doc's Weekly Haul. That means I've been doing this a whole year. This is awesome. It's really great to be able to join in with you to talk about these books and to grow in this new year. So again, happy 2025. I hope that you had a wonderful Wednesday picking up all the books that you wanted to that came out this week. So let's go ahead and take a deep dive into what I picked up this week. All right. I'm going to talk about this book in another video, the Greatest Hits video, but it's a facsimile copy of Fantastic Four #1 by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, the Marvel book that kicked off the Marvel Universe. So you can look forward to that video coming very, very soon. Secondly, we have The Amazing Spider-Man #65, written by Joe Kelly with art by Cafu. And here we get the continuation of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. And here he is up against Syra and Calyx. And he has already beaten the brother, but now the sister comes, and she is the inevitability of death, the inevitability of life, and in the end, the inevitability and the question that do any of our lives truly matter at the end of the day? Is what we do in this life going to transfer for the next 200, 300, 1,000, 10,000 years? What is it that we try to carry on in these times, in these lives? And so he has shown the death of a ton of his supporting cast. And at the end of the day, it appears that none of this matters. So he's taken through the ringer very similarly to Amazing Spider-Man 500, Happy Birthday Part 3 of 3 by John Michael Straczynski and John Romita Jr. He's got to be strong in the scariest of situations. And through it all, Agent Coulson, who is now the embodiment of death, tries to help him get through there. But at the end, it says here, in defense of ephemeral whispers who were dead the instant they were born, trapped in meaningless lives with inevitable ends, whose echoes fade and leave only silence. So the question is, what's the legacy that each one of us leave behind? And is that legacy lasting? Is it something that your family, 10 generations, should the world still be here, can 10 generations down say that this YouTube channel mattered to anybody? Eventually, YouTube will be taken down. Eventually, something will replace it. Amazon will fall to be replaced by some bigger giant. That's hard to imagine at this moment. But just like this issue, it's hard to imagine the death of our loved ones and the lives of our loved ones meaning nothing. And so that is the weight that Spider-Man has to fight and has to carry through this issue, trying to learn about the inevitability of time and the passage of time. So I thought that was a really good book. I thought the art was absolutely amazing. This Mark Bagley cover is also amazing. But I just want to say that if Joe Kelly is allowed to, by Nick Lowe, to create really, really great stories, I think Joe can do okay as the new writer coming in April. But it really depends on the editors of this title to bring back the amazing to the Amazing Spider-Man. This particular issue, for me, filled that prophecy that it can be amazing once again. Was this as strong as the Kraven's Last Hunt or the death of Jean DeWolf? No. But it did speak to me. And that's something that an issue of ASM hasn't done in quite a while. So bravo, Joe Kelly and company. All right, next up, we have Juvenile, issue 2 of 5. And this is the continuation of teenagers who have a chance to have a surgery. But the overarching story here is, what happens if you stop taking your medicine? What happens if you don't conform to the way that people want you to conform in life? Instead, you choose to take your own path. You choose to say, hey, I might gain these amazing powers if I don't do what I'm told to do. I might die if I don't do what I'm told to do. But what is more important to me? So it kind of ties back into that ASM. What is my life worth if I just conform to every single thing that I'm told to do? What if I never step out of the box? What if I never choose my own path, even momentarily, even for just a second? I don't choose which way I'm going to go. If I don't choose that, then what legacy have I left? What can I tell my children if I live long enough to have those children? What can my grandkids learn from the stories they're told of me? Am I going to be a nobody? Or am I going to be Rick Grimes? Am I going to be the Silver Surfer? Or am I going to be Joe Chill? It's questions like that that make you ponder. And I'm not saying go out and rob and steal and kill. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying every once in a while, it's okay to have that cookie. It's okay to go on that date with somebody who might have a different lifestyle than you, or might have different thoughts than you. It's okay to show somebody compassion and to show somebody love and to step outside of the box when everybody else is laughing at that person or putting that person down. It's okay to walk away and put your hand on that person's shoulder. Go up to them, pull them to you, and give them a hug. And tell them, it's okay. I don't understand you, but I respect you and I love you for who you are. And if you are willing, I'd like to get to know you more. So this book hit pretty heavily as well with that message. And so I'm in it to win it all the way through issue 5 if it keeps up with that same high quality. This is another Image mini-series, this one written and illustrated by Jesus or Alana. All right, next up, this is going to be the book that I talk about on initial assessment. This is The Lucky Devils by Charles Soule and Ryan Brown. And I'm not going to talk about it at all, but I will say that it's got really great art in here, and I'm excited to go over this in more depth in an upcoming video. So I will say that I never read 8 Billion Genies, but I think this one also starts off with a very strong premise, and be looking for that video to come in the next couple of days. All right. Transformers, number 16, written by Daniel Warren Johnson, art by Jorge Corona, and it's dark. Colors by Sarah Stern. Here we have the continuation of Cliff Jumper and Blue Streak and RC walking through this minefield after the destruction that was wrought by the Decepticons. And Cliff finds a spark, just enough to maybe create a new Autobot, maybe to create somebody who can provide that leadership that Optimus Prime has always provided. And it's not to say that Prime is incapable of still leading, but it is to say that Prime has got something going on inside of him that he's not quite sure what it is. the Optimus Prime for the G1 cartoon was always a stoic, well thought of leader. And in these last few issues, it seems like he's having moments of anger and frustration, and he's tired. You just get tired of seeing the world in a negative light, and death and destruction and stupidity all around you. And how can anybody, even Optimus Prime, who seems to be ever the optimist, how can anybody continue on in that way without occasionally saying, can you just, are all you capable of is destruction? He said that a few issues back. It's all you know to destroy. So there comes a tipping point that Optimus needs to figure out who Optimus is. We also get this really awesome battle between Devastator and Bruticus. I had to make sure that was who I was thinking it was. So just a knockdown, drag-out fight between Devastator and Bruticus with this awesome artwork by Jorge Corona. So Daniel Warren Johnson still has it. Still the top read of the week. The artwork by Jorge Corona is just, I don't know what else can be said about it. He has stepped up his game, and it's so great that it's definitely on the same level as Daniel Warren Johnson's art was on this title for the first 6 issues. So if you haven't read this, I would say pick it up. If you enjoyed the G1 characters, if you enjoyed Transformers at any point, I think that you really, really dig this book. So that's an awesome issue and an awesome way to kick off 2025 for this Transformers book. All right. And the last book that we're going to really talk about today is Welcome to the Maynard, Issue 2, which continues the story of Pip as she is learning from Sam and her bosses more and more about the Maynard, but at the same time, she meets all of these interesting characters. And it's a gala that's upcoming, and it's a gala of magicians. So she gets a chance to meet Maestro Zenith, or Zenith as he calls himself. And later on in the issue, she helps Zenith with an issue that he wouldn't talk about to other people. There's a sadness. You can see it in his face. He's lost something, but he won't talk about what he's lost. Then you have the twins here, Amelia and Hamilton, Cape. So this book with art by J Bone has just got a lot of energy behind it and a lot of potential. And it's not just potential. The story's moving forward. I'm still reading the Starman Compendium, and this is written by James Robinson, who wrote the Starman title back in the 1990s. And this has got really amazing story behind it, and it can go in so many different directions. Pip is kind of she's a fleshed out character. She's not a blank slate, but she could go in the direction of being a Doctor Strange one day, or she could go in the direction of being Dormammu. And this is all going to come down to what she learns at the Maynard and what she can figure out about this thief and what this thief is stealing from different guests and different rooms of the Maynard. So this is really a different story, and it's an interesting story that I'm fully invested in. So if you haven't read this, it's by James Robinson with artwork by J Bone and Ian Herring and Jim Campbell. So definitely check this out. I would say it's one of the better Dark Horse books I've read in quite some time. And I'm going to talk about Blood Brothers Mother, Issue 3, in a video to come about Bigger Than Life, which talks about the treasury-sized books, magazine-sized books But here we have the continuation of the brothers who are still searching for their mother after she was kidnapped by a cowboy who hurt their father, who was a preacher. But this story, as I was explaining to a friend of mine today, it may not be quite as simple and straightforward and easily cut as it seems. And the boys, sooner rather than later, are going to find out more about their mother than they probably ever wanted to know. So this is written by Brian Azzarello with art by Eduardo Rizzo, and look for that in an upcoming episode of Bigger Than Life. Thank you, everybody, for joining me on this first new episode for 2025. It's been an awesome journey. I hope to continue it well into 2025 and beyond. If you've got any thoughts, any comments, anything you'd like to see, anything you'd like to hear me talk about, shoot them down in the comments section below. Let me know, and I will try as the year goes on to continue to upgrade my quality of these videos. I hope that you enjoy the quality of these videos. I try to provide not just commentary, but well thought out commentary on the books that I read each and every week, as well as what's on my bookshelf, the Bigger Than Life series, even the movie reviews, and the Friday videos that talk about the upcoming movies. So are there any things that you don't like about the channel? I'd like to know these things so that I can help grow, not just for myself, but for everybody else. If there's things you want me to talk about, that's great. If there's things you don't like me talking about, that's great as well, because I can either add or subtract to the channel as needed. So thanks for joining me again, and we will see you all in the next video. Have a great evening.